Hey guys, welcome to Fridays with Kage on the OTK, and I'm your Friday host, Kage. Real quick, I just wanted to go over what's been going on with me. I started testosterone on Monday the 15th. Today is Friday the 19th, putting me at 4 days on T. And if you want to hear about my interesting changes that are happening, go check out my other channel, Kage Jonas 1986. Here on YouTube. Anyway, real quick, I wanted to go over that because it's really exciting. I'm starting to feel a little bit of, effects of the tea, and you'll probably hear my voice start to cut a little in and out throughout my video, so I apologize for that, beforehand. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. It is week 6, and this week's topic is friends and family. And let me go ahead and pull up the page here so I have the questions in front of me. So, let's see, week 6. Okay, families and friends. How out are you? Did you lose friends and family in coming out? If you're not out, do you plan to be out soon? How did you or will you come out? Okay, I'm out to pretty much the entire world. I mean, I started this channel, as an outlet for not only me but other guys. So that is kind of a moot point for me anymore. I'm out to anyone and everyone. Did I lose friends and family in coming out? I don't believe that I did. If I lost friends, it was probably due to lack of communication or something like that, but I've never had, someone be so negatively against me being who I am that I've lost them. Let's see, my family. My mom is incredibly supportive. She gave me my first shot on Monday, so it's not about my mom at all. My sisters are very supportive. 100% they're behind me. My cousin, who I grew up with, she was basically like a sister, a big sister to me. She is 100% behind me. Friends from high school that I hadn't talked to since graduation, which would be almost 6 years now, have commented on my Facebook, that they are so proud and, just proud to know me. And I feel so incredibly lucky that everything has been so very positive in my life. And, when I went through therapy and I did my gender team evaluation, they asked me questions about, my family and, had I ever had negative experiences and whatnot. And I'm just so incredibly pleased that, I'm one of the lucky ones, as they put it. And I totally agree, because I've seen people have the worst of all possible outcomes with coming out. And, that's just, it's not cool. Let's see, how did I come out? At first, I came out to my 8 best friends from high school via Facebook, email. I sent them a message telling them, that this was what was going to happen. It was very detailed, explaining that I may not have always seemed to be quite right, and that, I wasn't that person that I had been portrayed as, I guess you could say. So, I was met back with emails from each one of them responding and saying that, they supported me and, go Kage, basically rah rah, hey team kind of stuff. So that was really, really pleasant, experience for me. Coming out to my workplace was easy because I came out when I was hired, and they've been with me 100%, behind me the whole time, using the correct pronouns, using the name, that I chose for myself. Everything just 100% peachy green, whatever. And then there was the matter of my parents. I lived as male from December-ish, I guess, was really when it happened, of 2007 until about the same time. So about 2 years, in '09. And I couldn't live like that anymore. I felt like I was, lying horribly to my parents. So I decided it was time to tell them. And I tried to drop little hints here and there, sort of, you know, to kind of get them on the same page as me. Now, you have to understand my parents are very old-fashioned, but it doesn't mean that they can't be progressive. My dad just had his 69th birthday on the 7th of this month. So, he's kind of set in his ways. Excuse me. He's kind of set in his ways. My mom is in her 60s as well, so she is, really actually kind of cool for being, you know, older. I don't want to offend anyone, but, yeah, awesome. My mom's always been really supportive of everything I've ever done. When I came out as a lesbian in high school, or after high school, my mom actually found out because someone outed me. And that is something that no one should ever do to anyone else. Nobody deserves to be outed. But anyway, she wasn't upset. The first thing she said was that she just wanted my life to be easy as possible. And I think that's what every parent wants for their child. I mean, I was living my life on the outside world for myself, but at home I was living the life for my parents. And sadly, to put it the way Ted did, very bluntly, you can't spend your life living for someone else. And once I turned 19 and I realized that, I was not this someone else that I had thought I was, or that other people had thought I was, I couldn't do it anymore. So basically, I asked Jake to come over and be my support rock. So Jake and Selena and I had just started dating. And it was around Thanksgiving. So I made dinner and, we ate. My dad got up from the table when he was done. He went into the living room. And I basically just kind of did it. I just had this overwhelming urge to just blurt it out. And like Donnie was saying, I've been there. Dude, like I was having nightmares that I was getting in fights with my mom and I would just scream at her that I was trans. And then I would wake up in a cold sweat. It was just terrible. And this happened for like a year and a half. And finally I said, if I'm going to go to therapy and I'm going to, eventually move on and start T, there's no way at all that I can do this without my mom. She's always been, my support. So either way, I basically told her, after dinner or whatever. And, that's what happened. And I kind of threw Jake under the bus, and we kind of laughed about this. I kind of threw him under the bus. I was just kind of like bringing it up the topic, like, oh, Mom, Jake's trans, kind of how I did it. And then, the first thing she said after I told her was, do you have the money? And I said, I'm going to have to find it. And that was basically it. But my mom's been there every step of the way since I came out to her. She's been wonderfully supportive and awesome. But this is going to run over the 10-minute time limit if I don't shut up. So check out my channel. And just remember, if you're looking to come out, even whether it's coming out as gay, trans, bi, whatever your issue is, just remember that you can only hold it in for so long, and you'll know when the moment is right. But I hope that was helpful. For more information on what's going on with me, check out my personal channel, Kage Jonas 1986. And this was Fridays with Kage on the T Guys. Check out Matt tomorrow for Saturday.